in verse 37. Romans chapter 8 in verse 37. Nay, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. Nay, in all these things, and I try to explain, in all what things? In all our adversities. In verse 35, it tells us those adversities, that they cannot deprive us or deny us of the love of God. They cannot make God to love us less. In verse 35, who shall separate us from the love of Christ? Shall tribulation, the troubles of life, the distresses of life, the hardship of life, they cannot deprive us of the love of God or distress. And you find sufferings there and difficulties there. Can they separate us, deny us the love of God? Never. Or persecution, the pressure, because of our faith in the Lord, because of our love for the Lord, and because of living, He allow you to look like this. Those are the things the enemy may want to whisper to us or talk to us, but those things doesn't show that the love of God is not with us, or that the Lord does not love us. Or peril, the danger by false brethren, and danger by sinners all around us, because we are lovers of Christ and committed to the faith of the Son of God. Or sword. And here there's a threat to our lives because of our commitment to the faith of the Lord Jesus Christ. Will all those things, can they separate us from the love of Christ? Paul says no, that in the midst of those adversities, and may present or bring against us. Nay, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. He loved us in the past. He's still loving us today, and in the future he will still love us. Now, too many Christians fail in their quest for a victorious life. And like we mentioned, that the following points will tell us how to win. We've looked at the first two. We win by prevailing in prayer to God. If we're going to have dominion over the assaults and the onslaughts of powers of darkness, we need to prevail in prayer. Spend quality time, ample time before God in the place of prayer. Apart from that, if we're going to overcome, we're going to pursue the promises of God. When challenges come, whatever the enemy throws at us, we appeal to the promises of God, and we appropriate the promises of God. We pursue the promises of God, and that will give us the victory and the mastery over the challenges and the troubles the enemy brings to us. Now, we'll look at number 3. If we're going to win in the battle of life, and in the challenges the enemy, throws at us, we must practice the presence of God. How do we mean? Look at James in chapter 4, in verse 8. James chapter 4, in verse 8. We must practice the presence of God. And what do we mean by practicing the presence of God? James chapter 4, verse 8 explains that to us. It says, draw near to God, and he will draw near unto you. Can you see that? If we are going to practice the presence of God, what does that mean? We are people that loves the presence of God. We love fellowship with God. We love praying, seeking the face of God. We love intimacy, closeness to God. And it's important we understand that if we're going to practice the presence of God every moment